Imagine this. Quincy Jones, the legendary music producer who shaped the soundtrack of our lives, has just passed away at 91, leaving behind a legacy so vast that the world is still processing it. This man didn't just change music. He built an empire that influenced Hollywood, mentored icons, and created a fortune that will now shape his family's future. But as his story comes to a close, questions remain. What will happen to his fortune? And how will his impact continue in an industry that's changed so much? Today, we're not just remembering Quincy, we're diving into the final chapter of his story. From family inheritances to the controversies he left behind, we're here to explore what Quincy's passing means for the industry and for those who carry his name. So let's unpack the latest events and see what's really happening behind the scenes. So here's where it all begins. Quincy Jones spent his last days in his Bel-Air mansion, surrounded by family. For a man who was known for his powerful network and influence, it seems fitting that he ended his life with those closest to him. But his passing didn't just mean a goodbye. It marked the start of a new chapter for his family. With an estate worth hundreds of millions, Quincy's 7 children, including actress Aretha Jones, are about to inherit not only a vast fortune, but also the responsibility of managing an iconic legacy. Imagine the weight of that responsibility. They're not just inheriting money. They are taking on a name that changed music and pop culture. For years, Quincy had been one of Hollywood's most influential figures. Now, his family must decide how to handle a legacy that includes not only success, but also stories of conflict and battles over credit. You might be wondering, how big is Quincy's fortune? Well, it's huge. Quincy's wealth didn't just come from producing albums or winning Grammys. Over his life, he built a massive empire that included music labels, film scores, television shows, and even real estate. He was a savvy businessman who understood that influence goes beyond chart-topping hits. He co-founded Vibe magazine, produced the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and acquired stakes in broadcasting companies. His children are inheriting not only financial wealth, but also a complex network of business interests. In fact, managing his estate could be as challenging as running a small company. And what makes this even more interesting is the recent legal conflicts Quincy faced, especially his disputes with Michael Jackson's estate over royalties from Thriller and other albums. Quincy initially won $9 million in damages, but was later forced to return most of it after an appeal. These legal battles remind us that even icons like Quincy had to fight to secure what he believed was his due. Now, his family steps into that role. Will they defend his legacy as fiercely as he did? Quincy Jones wasn't just a producer, he was a Hollywood powerhouse. But his influence came with complications. Quincy was known for being brutally honest, sometimes controversial. In a 2018 interview, he famously described Michael Jackson's personality as Machiavellian, sparking shock and curiosity among fans and followers. This candidness made him both admired and scrutinized, as he often lifted the veil on Hollywood's secrets, hinting at alliances, rivalries, and tensions most people would never hear about. But now, with Quincy gone, we're left with questions about his relationships in Hollywood. His connection to industry giants like Diddy is particularly interesting. As you may know, Diddy is currently facing serious legal troubles involving charges ranging from racketeering to conspiracy. Some fans wonder if more names will emerge as these cases develop, and if Quincy's connections will come under scrutiny. Could Diddy's case bring unexpected revelations about Quincy's role and influence in the industry? It's a question that has people watching closely. Speaking of Hollywood power players, let's talk about Diddy. Recently, Diddy has been facing serious legal charges involving conspiracy and sex trafficking, and his case is attracting a lot of attention. With allegations coming forward about Diddy's parties and the nature of his industry connections, fans are asking if others in his circle will also face scrutiny. For years, Quincy and Diddy have been linked in the industry, both as collaborators and sometimes rivals. While Quincy's name hasn't been directly linked to these cases, it's no secret that his influence in Hollywood extended far and wide. Quincy was known for being a gatekeeper, helping talents like Will Smith and Michael Jackson rise to fame. But in an industry as tightly woven as Hollywood, it's hard to tell where one person's influence ends and another's begins. Could Diddy's legal situation bring unexpected insights into Quincy's own role in the entertainment world? Only time will tell. For Quincy, success was about more than fame. It was about breaking barriers. He was the first Black executive at Mercury Records, a role he took on in the 1960s, a time when the industry was anything but inclusive. His success paved the way for future generations, and his influence helped shape a more diverse entertainment world. But even as he broke barriers, Quincy wasn't afraid to criticize the industry he helped build. In his later years, he spoke openly about Hollywood's flaws, from unfair contracts to uncredited contributions. This made him a complex figure, someone who loved the industry but was unafraid to hold it accountable. Now, as his family takes up his mantle, they're not only managing his wealth, but also his legacy of activism and advocacy. Quincy's story isn't just about music, it's about pushing for change and setting a new standard in a world that wasn't always fair. So, here we are. Quincy Jones may be gone, but his influence isn't. His passing has stirred curiosity, nostalgia, and maybe even a bit of controversy. His children are left to carry forward a legacy that's as challenging as it is inspiring. And as the industry continues to evolve, fans and followers will be watching to see how Quincy's name shapes the future. Quincy's story is a reminder that legacies are complex. They're not just about success, but also about resilience, innovation, and sometimes controversy. As we remember him, we're also looking to see how his family, friends, and industry peers respond to his legacy. Will Quincy Jones continue to be a household name, or will the complexities of his story fade over time? What do you think? Will Quincy's legacy inspire new changes in the industry, or will the controversy surrounding him cast a shadow over his achievements? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. We'll be here with more insights and stories from the world of entertainment, so stay tuned.